What's happening? This is Joshua Boetsi and you're watching Sporting Icons.
Okay, so I've just got back home to Newcastle from Cardiff, my first time visiting Cardiff. Very, very nice place, very, very nice people, and well done to Boxer and Sky Sports for their production and, of course, how they treat everybody, including myself and that there. Now, the Chris Eubank Jr. versus Liam Williams fight. Now, of course, I've been around the whole build-up leading up to it all. There was some pushing and shoving from not just the two fighters with each other and some bad verbals, but the crowd were even trying to attack Chris Eubank Jr. the day before the fight and the final face-off, which I don't like that. I don't think that the crowd should try and touch the fighters in that kind of way. Boo them, heckle them, whatever, but don't try and touch them. Anyway, so this fight obviously had a lot of bad blood. Both of them played their role. Liam Williams, of course, was the hometown favourite. Huge support. Again, well done to Cardiff and the Welsh boxing fans out there for getting behind their man. Chris Eubank Jr. played the role of the antagonist very, very well. And believe me, he loved it. You can see he just loved it. Now, as far as the fight went, how did I see it? Now, I've seen, obviously, on the trip back to Newcastle from Cardiff, obviously, I've been looking up online, how do people see it and all that kind of thing. And to be honest with you, it does seem that a lot of people thought that Liam Williams was more in the fight than maybe what he was. Now, officially, there was 4 knockdowns against Liam Williams. 3 of them happened in the first 4 rounds. So already after round 4, me and I'm sure many of you thinking, well, the writing's on the wall. It looked like his punch resistance was gone. When you're hitting the deck from a jab, it's a little bit worrying, okay? But to his credit, he bit down the gum shield and he just didn't show any signs of giving up and was just kept marching forward at him. But I do have to ask a question, why did Chris Eubank Jr. let him off the hook? Now, in the post-fight interview, he says that he wanted to punish him. He wanted him out of the sport because of the certain things that he said on the build-up and whatever else. Now, to be honest, I don't know. Could he have stopped Liam Williams? Maybe. In fact, I'm pretty sure that he could have done, if I'm being brutally honest. But I do feel that he let Liam Williams back into the fight at times and was spending too much time showboating. Now, it's one thing to do that with Liam Williams. Liam Williams is a great fighter. We all know that. Or at least a very good fighter. But you do that each and every time you fight. Now, it's one thing for his father to do it. Of course, his father, that's how he was building up his reputation. Always being the antagonist. That's why people would buy tickets to see him either win or to see him either lose. People would tune on TV to see him win or to see him lose. What he was doing was, for a British fighter, quite unique. Chris Eubank Jr. doing that, as good as what he is at doing that, as in playing the antagonist and that at times, and the showboating is fine in spats, but don't get overconfident, because you do that against some of the higher level fighters, you may not get the decision because judges, referees don't like that kind of behaviour. I don't know. Does he not have the killer instinct anymore? I don't know. But either way, I thought Chris Eubank Jr. won this fight quite comfortably. I mean, I think you'd have to be watching a different fight or really, really wanting Liam Williams to win that fight to think that it was close. I mean, officially 4 knockdowns. Granted, one of them, I'm not too sure about it upon seeing the replay, if it's actually a legitimate knockdown or not. But Liam Williams did win some rounds for sure, but there's no way the gap could have been closed if you're officially getting knocked down 4 times in a fight. But again, you do have to ask the question of the 10-8 rounds. I said this before, that the official rule for a 10-8 round means that you have to win the round and score the knockdown. If you're losing that round and then you score the knockdown, then the round's a draw. That's officially the rules, but for some reason these rules seem to go out the window. Anyway, that said, officially the scorecards were going 10-8 in favour of Chris Eubank Jr. So he won that fight quite comfortably. Too much showboating, in my opinion. But at the same time, where's the sportsmanship? The sportsmanship after the fight was non-existent. When the bell went at the end of round number 12, there was no walking up, touching gloves. And you can see that Liam Williams wanted to do that, but Chris Eubank Jr. just didn't. Then it went over. Of course, he got the decision. He got his arm raised. Again, didn't even go up to Liam Williams to say, hey, good fight, good effort, or whatever else. And of course, he'd done the post-fight interview and that as well, saying how he wanted to get him out of there and this kind of person shouldn't be in the sport of boxing and whatever else. And while I understand where he's coming from, of course, he felt disrespected. But at the end of the day, you've just gone 12 rounds with him. Show him some respect. A little bit of sportsmanship goes a long way. And I think that's why, obviously, the crowd didn't see the post-fight interviews, because obviously the post-fight interviews were done backstage because the crowd were kicking off with Chris Eubank Jr. And I think that had he have shown a bit of sportsmanship in the ring, the crowd probably wouldn't have kicked off. Some people will, of course. But ultimately, if he's getting a handshake with Liam Williams and, you know, the old sportsmanship hug and all that kind of thing, and the crowd would be more like, okay, you know what, he was just playing the role, well done. But because he didn't, he's still playing the antagonist, even after the fight. There's no need to play it, unless, of course, he's thinking long-term, where a lot of people will start tuning in to watch him lose, because they don't like his attitude. I found him quite funny in that at times. I thought Liam Williams played the role brilliantly. In fact, I was with Liam Williams briefly in the hotel in the lobby about 2 hours before the event kicked off. He was looking at some paintings that this brilliant artist was doing in the lobby. He looked very, very confident and all that kind of thing. I know he was coughing a fair bit. I don't know whether or not he caught a cold. But he did look very, very flat. I will say that. But again, is that just down to Chris Eubank Jr.? Is that down to the fact that he hasn't spent too much time with Adam Booth? I don't know. Or maybe he just reached the end of his road now. But Chris Eubank Jr., I thought he'd done well. If he'd have just spent more time, and I think that's what boxing fans want to see Chris Eubank Jr. do. Do what he does and put your foot on the gas and start stopping people. As in legitimately stopping people. Okay, that's what people want to see of Chris Eubank Jr. There again, maybe he just felt so comfortable that he didn't need to, and he wants the champions, as in currently Murata, the WBA, where Chris Eubank Jr. is ranked highly, to look at him and think, right, well, you know what, he didn't have that killer instinct, no real danger of me getting knocked out, let's take the fight. Whereas if he's just walking through people like Liam Williams and blasting them out, he's going to get a little opportunity from any of the champions. But of course, Triple G, he's going to be taking on Murata in a unification soon anyway for WBA and IBF. I imagine Triple G will win that one. Will that fight finally happen? Maybe. But either way, the only thing that kind of let down this fight for me wasn't the judges' score. And I know some people were upset about that. Whether you had a little bit closer, that's fine. But ultimately, the right man did get his hand raised. It's just poor sportsmanship. I don't really like that, to be honest. You can do it all in the build-up, but afterwards, just show a little sportsmanship, in my opinion. And had he have done that, I think the crowd wouldn't have kicked off the way that it did in sections of it. Anyway, listen, that's my thoughts on it all. I hope you all enjoyed the fight. Again, well done to boxer Ben Shalom, Sky Sports, for putting on a great event. A little bit emotional for me in certain parts of it. Again, that will be addressed in due course. Anyway, hope you're all doing well. Drop your thoughts below, click thumbs up, subscribe. Catch you on the next video.